Look who made it over. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the screen clear so I can see what you guys are doing. Okay, so White Angel made it over. Video real. Little lady. Debbie 2 scooter chick. Debbie, you used to be just 2 scooter chick. Now you had to put a Debbie there, like Debbie 2 scooter chick. Okay. Kevin Leonard Margot, video real. I said Alabama creative. I never get redirected. Gosh, I don't know why. So anyway, we got some. Who should we do first? Let's do the UHC because we were talking about the guy. Let me show you what he looks like because he has this smile. I think I know him, but Kevin says I don't. I don't know why I do. He looks like somebody I know. He wears a mask, you know. There's his eyes. You see his eyes? That's an image that was released by the police department of the suspect. They're not releasing his name in the killing of Brian Thompson, and that he was seen in the back of a taxi on the morning of the shooting. So that was the morning of. The New York Police Department has released 2 new images of the man they believe fatally shot the CEO of United Healthcare, including one showing him in the backseat of a taxi on the day of the shooting. These images were released on Saturday night as the frantic investigation continued to identify and track down the killer of Brian Thompson, who was 50 years old, and he was outside the New York Hilton in Midtown Manhattan on Wednesday. One image captured from the front of the cab appears to show the unidentified suspect peering forward from the vehicle's back seat with his face partially obscured by a blue surgical mask, a dark hat, and a black hood. Then there's another image. Here, let me put that one up. Okay, here you see this image. Okay, and you see him in a black puffy coat jacket. And this was recorded through the window. It shows him walking on the street, wearing that mask, black puffy jacket, hood pulled over his head, standing outside the taxi. The police have said the man caught a taxi around 7 a.m. Wednesday on the Upper West Side, and that was about 15 minutes after he shot that UHC CEO. He took that taxi uptown. He got off at a bus terminal near the George Washington Bridge, and they believe he caught a bus out of the state. Though the shooting set off a manhunt that stretched well beyond New York City and commanded days of national attention, the man has not been apprehended, and he's still at large on Sunday, which is today. That's really Monday. And the police were still searching for information about who he was and what motivated him to shoot Mr. Thompson. The taxi images are the latest images to come out as police are scouring hours of footage from surveillance cameras around the city to get any kind of information about where this man is, his movements, over what they believe he spent 11 days in New York City, starting with his arrival on a bus that originated in Atlanta. Rough. On November 24th. They also recovered bullet casings at the scene with the words depose, deny, and delay. A possible reference to terms used by insurers to avoid paying claims. So they're thinking, was this guy someone who had a claim of his denied for something, or a family member, right? Officers recovered a backpack, as I just told you about that, in Central Park. They recovered that on Friday, and they believe that he discarded it as he cycled away from the scene of the shooting towards the Upper West Side before he caught the cab. He was on a bike. They have yet to publicly confirm if the backpack belonged to the man, but they said that there was monopoly money in there, so they haven't found him. And let me show you a picture without his mask when he was smiling at smiling. Which you've probably seen. I probably would say you've seen this one. Maybe you haven't. Can't just assume you've seen everything. And there, is the number 1-800-577-8477 if you do know anything about this guy. If you see something, as they say something. So there he is with that smile. And I don't know, in that picture I'm like, oh my gosh, it seems like I know that guy. I don't know. Just gives me like I know him vibes. I don't know. I have no idea. And here's another look at him, because somebody's probably seen him somewhere, right? Because he could be back in Atlanta. He could be back down there, And he probably looks like, look at him, he probably looks like a very clean-cut, unassuming guy, right? Let's see here. Investigators also now believe the man traveled to New York last month on a bus that originated in Atlanta. A tip that the shooter may have stayed at a hostel brought police Thursday morning to at least 2 such establishments in Manhattan's Upper West Side, according to one of the law enforcement officials briefed on the investigation. The photo made public Thursday and I just lost my thing here. Was taken in the lobby of the High New York City hostel. We are fully cooperating with the NYPD, and as this is an active investigation, cannot comment at the time, the hostel spokesperson Danielle Brumfitt said. Employees who work at the hostel told investigators they remembered a man who almost always wore a mask when interacting with them or passing by the front desk. The person wore a jacket that looked like the one worn by the man pictured in the surveillance images. The CEO is the father of 2 sons who lived in Minneapolis suburb. He had been with the Minnetonka, Minnesota-based United Healthcare since 2004, and he served as CEO for more than 3 years. His wife, Paulette, told NBC News on Wednesday that he told her there were some people that had been threatening him. She didn't have details, but suggested that threats may have been involved with issues with insurance coverage. The insurer's parent company, United Health Group, was holding its annual meeting in New York City to update investors on its direction and expectations for the coming year. The company ended the conference after Thompson's death. Let's see. In October, United Healthcare was named along with Humana and CVS in a Senate report detailing how its denial rate for prior authorizations for some Medicare Advantage patients had surged in recent years. So So yeah, is it about that, right? I don't know, we'll see. All right, so that's what we know about that. Now, next, let's talk about Jay-Z. Alrighty. So Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit Sunday of essaying, and it says actually the R word, a 13-year-old girl in 2000, the year 2000, allegedly along with Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe in the lawsuit, said the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. The federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant, but it was refiled Sunday to include Jay-Z, Sean Carter. Now, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby filed that suit and did not comment. Now, Jay-Z calls the allegations idiotic in a lengthy statement Sunday evening, and he alleged that Busby was engaged in unprofessional behavior. Okay, I quote, he said, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office is pursuing the case when shown the report on the lawsuit. Busby has filed several lawsuits in recent months, and all have withheld their complainants' names, accusing Combs of assault and R. This is the first suit in which he has named another high-profile defendant. Let's see. Before the lawsuit was refiled on Sunday, Jay-Z received a letter from the plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. Busby wrote in the lawsuit, in response to the letter, Carter filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorney. "You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same," Jay-Z said in the statement Sunday. "I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children." The lawsuit claims that in 2000, when this Jane Doe was 13, that Combs and Carter R'd her at a house party after the MTV Video Music Awards in New York. The lawsuit says a friend dropped her off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket. We heard about this case. Okay, I know this case right now. Okay. And she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or the after party. One driver, the lawsuit said, told her that he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to the party and after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening. After he transported Carter and Combs, the suit says. Later, the driver picked her up, according to this lawsuit, and after 20 minutes, they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. She had to sign a document she believed was a non-disclosure on her arrival and did not receive a copy. To enter the party, which the lawsuit says was filled with celebrities and people doing marijuana and cocaine. She was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. And she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterwards, Combs and Carter entered the room with Combs saying, "Are you ready to you are ready to party?" That's when she alleges Carter removed her clothes, held her down, and arred her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. She said Combs also arred her as Carter and the woman looked on. The suit said that she was able to resist being forced to perform what Chris Reed was saying about that Carol or on Combs by hitting him in the neck, and that he stopped. After the alleged assault, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father. She's seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit is filed under New York's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. My only heartbreak is for my family, Carter said in the statement. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake, I think they mean psychics, but they put something, will believe these idiotic claims you have levied against me. If not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. Okay, so yeah. So what do you think about that? What is this? Is this real? Scooter, where were you? Look at this. A good Samaritan who went outside to get a delivery found 2 infant girls who were dumped in a ditch near his Indiana home after the car they were in was stolen. Oh my gosh. Indianapolis police asked for the public's help Monday in locating a silver Hyundai Sonata that was stolen with a 4-month-old girl and a 5-month-old girl in the back seat. After 20 minutes, police appealed for information on social media. Officials shared an update that the children had been found safe and the vehicle had been located. The Good Samaritan had gone outside to get a package when he saw 2 car seats. The baby girls had been left in the car seats in the cold. The man took the babies inside and called 911. Police confirmed that the babies were the missing girls from the stolen vehicle. The car was found near where the children were left. A police spokesperson said that he could not thank the Good Samaritan enough. It's cold out there. Who knows what could have happened if this particular individual hadn't gone outside. No arrests have been made. Wow, 2 little babies in a ditch. Wow, look at this. A California teacher died of rabies from being bitten by a bat in her classroom. It says, a Central California woman died from rabies after she was bitten by a bat. In the first death from rabies in more than 30 years in her county. Leah Senning 60 years old, died on November 22nd after a bat bit her in her classroom at the Bryant Middle School in Dos Palos in Merced County on October 14th. Family and friend spokesperson Laura Splotch told NBC News this on Tuesday. She was an art teacher. She saw the bat in her classroom and didn't think anything of helping it get on its way. She found it in the classroom before school started, and being a kind-hearted person, she didn't want to hurt the animal, so she scooped it up to take it outside, and that's when she thought it just scratched her, and then it flew away. Wow, she picked up a bat with her bare hands. Even when she felt a light prick from the bat, it didn't come across her mind that she might have been bitten. And while the sight of a bat in an indoor space isn't terribly uncommon in that part of rural California, the county public health spokesperson, Megan Black, urged caution when people come into close contact with one. Don't engage. Don't interact with it. You want to report it to animal control. Notify your medical provider if there's any contact with the animal. Senning said she didn't feel any symptoms for weeks before she went to St. Agnes Medical Center on November 18th, and her condition gradually worsened. Early symptoms of rabies could include fever or headaches. Deterioration from rabies can often bring unbearable brain dysfunction such as anxiety, confusion, agitation, and hallucinations. Those who do encounter bats, if they are bitten, they tend to be small and sometimes unnoticeable. So you want to make sure that you're consulting with your medical provider if you do come in encounter with one. The rabies death was the first in Fresno County since 1992. Rabies is 100% preventable if individuals seek medical care right away. Senning was kind and creative and had a dark sense of humor. Her friend would have found a way to have a laugh about the rabies death, she said. It's very shocking still to think she's no longer around because of something so random. And let's see. Splotch imagined Senning probably having a dark laugh and quipping, "This wasn't on my death bingo card." Senning is survived by her husband and daughter. She enjoyed her summer vacation, which included a trip to her husband's native Bali. Oh, it's very sad. Okay, now we're going to talk about the wedding anniversary murder. And I've been telling you about this. I told you about it a couple of days ago when we watched it on Friday, which was day one. I told you about it, I think, Saturday as well. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it going into day 2 of the trial. Okay, he was a tattoo artist. He was older than Emily. They had only been married 1 year. They went to Vermont, and that's when everything went wrong. And she didn't make it back out again. He's saying it's self-defense. Sounds like a crock of crap. Let me get a picture of the couple. There were so many things like over the top, like when his sister came to testify, his lawyer, like, just there's just, it's really weird. If you watch it, you'll see how weird it is. Okay. So, Joseph Ferlazzo is a resident of New Hampshire, but he was originally from Pennsylvania, okay? He's charged with the first-degree murder in the October 2021 shooting death of his wife, Emily Ferlazzo. while they were in Vermont for their 1-year wedding anniversary. Now, his sister and her ex-boyfriend, who was her boyfriend at the time, happened to be in Vermont as well as some friends of his and stuff. Prosecutor described Joseph Ferlazzo as a cold-blooded killer who confessed to the police that he shot his wife, Emily Ferlazzo, in a camper they were staying in after traveling from New Hampshire to Vermont for the weekend in 2021 to mark their 1-year wedding anniversary. His defense attorney countered that Joseph Ferlazzo acted in self-defense despite him making no such claim during an interrogation by authorities days after the killing. Jurors heard the competing versions of events from the two lawyers during opening statements of the first-degree murder trial of Joseph Ferlazzo. They also heard the interrogation. They saw and watched the interrogation of this guy as well. Now, he's 44 years old, a tattoo artist from Northfield, New Hampshire. He's been in custody since he was arrested in October of 2021 in the death of his 22-year-old wife. His wife worked as a nurse, and according to the charging documents, Joseph Ferlazzo shot Emily Ferlazzo twice while the couple were parked in their camper in Bolton. And then he dismembered her body, leaving her remnants in the camper. And then in the interrogation, he's like, yeah, let me see how many bags I left him in. 2 arms, and he's counting like two legs. He cut off 2 legs, 2 feet, he cut off the feet, 2 hands, her head. And that's how many bags he had, yeah. And then he threw some stuff away in gas stations. Joseph Ferlazzo returned to New Hampshire after the weekend without his wife. Now, he lived on property that the wife's mother and stepfather owned, and so he returned back without the wife, and he told them that, we had an argument in Bolton, and she told him she was going to be getting an Uber to go back to New Hampshire. The prosecutor said in her opening statement that on the night of the murder, Joseph Ferlazzo jumped on top of his wife while she was in bed in the camper and put a red pillow over her head and shot her twice. And this was like this bus camper, which was a converted bus. Let me see if I can show it to you. It looked like this. This is it. Right there. Okay, that's where this murder was committed. The evidence will show that his wife Emily posed no threat to him. Joseph Ferlazzo then went to great lengths over the next several days prior to his arrest to cover up the killing, prosecutor said. She said that the couple had been arguing on the night of the fatal shooting. Over the course of the evening, Mr. Ferlazzo and Emily started fighting, the prosecutor said. She told him she didn't want to be with him. Following the argument, she said that Emily Ferlazzo laid down on the bed and Joseph Ferlazzo stayed up and stewed and became enraged before he shot her in the head and killed her. She told the jurors that during the trial, the prosecution will present a wide range of evidence to prove its case, including testimony from several witnesses, as well as videos and photographs. Among the videos is a recorded statement from Joseph Ferlazzo after he was questioned by authorities days after the murder. She said, "You will hear Mr. Ferlazzo outline in great detail what led up to him shooting Emily. As you're listening to his interview, I want you to listen closely to his own words. Mr. Ferlazzo will never say that Emily was a threat to him. He will never say that he thought Emily was going to kill him. He will never say that he was scared for his life." Now, Margaret Jansch, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, is a public defender who's representing Joseph Ferlazzo. She told jurors Friday that they would hear directly from her client about the murder itself and the events leading up to it. They had been refitting a camper to turn it into a residence. They actually had a name for it, Roaming Rosie. You will hear him testify, she said. It was something they planned to go cross-country and up and down the East Coast. Wow, well, that didn't end well for Gabby Petito either, right? They traveled to Vermont to celebrate their 1-year anniversary and to spend time with his sister and her boyfriend, who rented an Airbnb in Bolton. Joseph and Emily Ferlazzo had parked their camper in the parking lot of the Airbnb. Soon after the couple arrived in Vermont, the attorney said they began arguing, and this included a dispute over him lighting a candle that she said Emily Ferlazzo didn't want lit. Eventually, she said that Emily got into bed. Well, she actually said during opening statements that she blew the candles out, and they were like Yankee-like jar candles, and then she started to hit him with these jars of these candle jars. But let me tell you, he had no marks on him, right? Okay. Joseph went to join her there, and the arguing continued, and he picked up a pillow and he threw it on her head. And that's when she said, "That's it, you're dead." This is according to the defense attorney. Emily Ferlazzo then pulled out a gun from under the pillow. He, of course, has a gun in his hand. That's what these two people did. They believed they needed to sleep with guns for their self-protection, though her mother says she doesn't even remember her daughter ever having a gun. And he shot her twice, and he killed her. After he shot her, he was really in a state of panic and shock. Yeah, call the police, right? Oh my gosh. He then carried on for the rest of the weekend as if nothing happened. Yeah, he went to this party with a fire pit, and there was an off-duty police officer that testified, and she's like, "Oh no, he was taking hits from a bong, and he was acting like everything was fine. He thought everything was fine. He would never suspect anything like this, you know." He included having breakfast the next morning with his sister, all while the defense attorney said Joseph Ferlazzo had provided various stories of why his wife was not with him. He will tell you that even now, his memory of what happened is fragmented, coming to him in bits and pieces. It is true that he told police nothing about what I just described to you, and that it was weeks later that it began coming back to him in the form of nightmares. That he could see her pulling the gun out to shoot him. The defense attorney asked the jurors to find her client acted in self-defense and to acquit him of the first-degree murder charge. You, as finders of fact, will have to decide what you think is true and isn't true. If convicted of the murder charge, Ferlazzo faces up to life in prison, and the trial is expected to last about 2 weeks. So that's our next trial that we're following. Yes, yes, yes. And we shall see there. So let me go back to the chatty chat and see what's going on. Okay, so what's going on? Over a candle. Well, candle and music, okay? But that's what he said. He said, oh, they had a great ride up there, a great ride up. And she just got psychotic, when they got there. And they're saying, like, she didn't want to see his family, she didn't want to do anything, she just started screaming, and the defense attorney's like, she's dropping the F-bomb around. Yeah, you used to see the opening arguments. It's crazy. And she opens up with, like, what she said about, that's it, you're dead. That's it, you're dead. It's crazy. You should see his attorney, and then his sister comes on, and she is, like, over the top with, like, I'm sorry, it looks like such an act. Oh, it looks terrible. And then he's doing it like on cue, and then the attorney's rubbing the guy's back, and even people were saying, wow, this looks like she's like somehow in a weird freaking way into this guy. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. So, poor choice of words, Scooter said. What poor choice of words? Bits and pieces. You watch bits and pieces of it? You should watch it tomorrow. We're going to watch it. You should come on into the Zoom. We're going to watch it. And you can weigh in. You don't have to worry about that freaky people in the people in those trial groups. There's one station that doesn't even put a live chat anymore because the people are so immature. It's ridiculous trying to even watch something with that. But that's what we have there. And I can't believe it's 4 a.m. Can you? What do you think about Jay-Z? Did you see my Kevin didn't, I was making the backdrops for my shell scooter because my shell people. I don't know why it's not focusing. This is like the Helena sound. I just don't know why it's not focusing. It's not focusing at all. I have no idea why. And then I'm going to put like probably me and Evie there on there looking at the beach. I don't know. And then I've got this one. That's the St. Helena Sound too. You see the land there? That's when we're on the St. Helena Sound. Isn't it nice even though it's not focusing, right? But it focuses on my Grinch and stuff. I don't know what's going on. Alabama? What did Alabama say? The trial is right now. Yeah, tomorrow's day 2. Tomorrow is day 2. All right, so we're going to watch that tomorrow. Is there anything else we need to do? Oh, we need to do the word cookie daily. And then we're going to go to bed because we're tired. It's been a long night. It was a fun auction. Chris Ree's been... Did you speak to Chris Ree yet, Scooter? Yeah, it's it's interesting. Go watch, catch up on day 1. The only thing Alabama Creative, which just sucks, is that their sound is awful. Is there anything worse than trying to watch a trial with awful sound? Oh my gosh, what is it? And they put these interrogations on. You can barely freaking hear them. And then they have subtitles that make no sense, okay? Oh my gosh, it's just annoying. That's annoying. It's like, get better sound. And then the defense attorney, like, she wants to walk around during her opening statements. Okay, that's great. I would probably want to walk around too, but get a lavalier mic, right? Get a lavalier mic. Know what's going to happen if you walk away. And they're like, they told her, they're like, and she goes, oh, you can't hear me again? No. So they're like bringing the mic closer. She knows that, and then she is moving away again. Oh my gosh, stop it. Yeah. And Kevin's like, is there something wrong with the sound? I'm like, Kevin, there's nothing here on my end. It's on their end completely. But hopefully maybe they'll have got it together I hope so. I hope someone told them that their sound was terrible. Oh, look at Kevin. Look at Kevin trying to come through with sulfur. Huh. Surface. Margot's got that one now. Spur. could, and then get one pearl too. Plus, oh, plus, yes. Okay, that's going to be it for me, guys. I am tired, gotta go to bed. Tired, tired, tired. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Love you, love you. God bless. Prayers. We'll see you later. Thank you, thank you.